What's up, everybody? Steve Fox with Shockwave Magazine. Down here at Man Ray Records in Baltimore City with Judas Priestess. Just catching up with them a little bit before their show today up at Cynics. I'm gonna go down the line, tell everybody who you are, what you do with the band. A little intro real quick.
Josette, guitarist.
Militia, lead vocals.
D. Mercedes, guitarist.
Gita Gash, bass.
And our drummer JoJo is not with us today because she's still on medical leave, but very soon. Very soon. Yeah. You will see the queen of all drummers again. Yes.
Cool. Well, welcome to Baltimore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to be home.
And thank you for having us.
And then we kind of already went through like who is Judas Priestess, and as most people know, you're all a Judas Priest tribute band.
That's
It was
right.
like, what brought each of y'all to kind of follow this path and doing this with your music? What kind of influence did Judas Priest have on you guys?
Okay, well, I
Individually.
think
Well, we
these two
started
are the brainiacs here, so they can answer that.
Yeah, we started the band. We had been in different bands through the years, whatever, and I had been in an all-girl Motley Crue tribute for about 2.5 years, Girls, Girls, Girls. She was playing Gita in all-girl Bowie tribute. We met at a mutual gig, and as the story goes, I saw her play.
And I saw her play.
My bladder was busting. I'm like, that's the bitch I gotta play with.
And I said,
Give me your number.
That's the best female guitarist I've ever seen in my life. I gotta play with her.
So we got together, and it was a toss-up between, I wanted to do Priest, she wanted to do Sabbath. Priest won.
Which is okay by me.
Militia was the first person to, well, people began to say, like, oh my God, how are you ever going to do this? We're like, we don't know, but it's kind of like we're counting on destiny to make this happen because we want it to happen, and it's time for it. Judas Priest being not only the gold standard of metal, but it's very symbolic. It's not just, oh, we like their music. It's a real statement for us as women to be doing Judas Priest. For everything they stand for, everything they brought to the table, one of the inventors of metal, we wanted to glorify that and put the female spin on it.
Super heavy music, complex arrangements, just
with
every style imaginable, and we had to search for the best singer. I mean, that was like the question.
Yes.
How are we going to find a woman that has a 5-octave range that could possibly match up to Rob Halford?
And they couldn't find that, so they got me.
Yeah.
So Militia was the first person to answer an ad we put out for vocalists. First we got a couple other people in. We've had a couple of lineup changes. But as far as vocalists, we knew that she had sent us her resume and we were totally intimidated by it. She sends us a picture of her standing next to Rob Halford and we're like, oh my God. She's not going to want to come with us.
She's too famous.
She sang lead in Dee Snider's heavy metal orchestra, Van Helsing's Curse. Militia has worked with Cyndi Lauper, Taylor Dane, Nancy Sinatra. We're like,
Jesus Christ?
yes,
No.
Jesus Christ.
I've worked with Jesus Christ.
I was Jesus
He and I
Christ
make
superstar.
So we're like,
together, you have no idea.
How
He's got impeccable timing. You have no idea.
how's she going to come down and want to sing with a bunch of, like, you know, New York local yo-yos like us, you know? So we worked up songs before we had Militia come in to try out because we knew in order to even begin to maybe get her to be interested, we had to sound all that and more. So, and JoJo, we had seen a video of her playing, and we knew there wasn't anybody else we wanted to even try, because she was not only the best woman drummer we've ever seen, she's about the best drummer we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's it.
Man or woman.
You live in
Man or
Jersey,
woman.
too fucking bad. You're joining this band, and she did.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's how it happened. We said, that's it. You have to do it. You know, Josette is our newest member.
Yes.
And she's been in about 2.5 months, and she is killer. She is fantastic. She's
You
played
can pay her
down
later.
in Nashville and Warped Tour. Let her tell you a little bit.
Well, I've done the Warped Tour. I've played with a bunch of different bands. I've toured Europe throughout with Erotica. And I've
But she had her
done...
clothes on.
I keep my clothes on, yes, but we'll save that for another interview.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah.
You know, I've played with Chud from the Misfits, a bunch of people. So, you know, now I play with Judas Priestess.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
So
God.
nothing else matters.
She learned 15
Aww.
songs in 1 week.
Yeah.
So, if this ain't good, nothing is.
So we have the
you know.
perfect arrangement of two awesome front guitarists that trade off leads, and it's just an amazing front line, an amazing show.
And so she's new, we're working at it, we're still integrating Joe's it in, we have a lot of work, new things we're going to be doing too, but it works, people love it, we love it, that's the most important thing, and I think because we care so much about it, and it is such a team, that translates, and people who see it just are like, wow, that's really good, so we're happy about that.
As long as people keep asking for it, we'll keep doing it. So. And as long as they keep paying us, we'll keep doing it. Yeah.
If y'all caring like so much about each other, like the whole team effort.
It has to be a team.
It's like
It has to
y'all.
be.
I know also have branched out. You mentioned Dee Snyder earlier. You had the charity Bikers for
Right.
Babies.
Right.
What was your experience with that? Are you involved with like any other charities or anything like
Yes.
Actually, you know, well, Dee and I have known each other for a while, and which is awesome to say, because I have adored the fuck out of him since I was a kid. You know, he was one of my like rock idols. I would watch him on like MTV and be like, whatever that is, I want that. I want to be involved in whatever that is, that chaos and like that excitement. I want to be in that in some way. And then they did a Twisted Sister reunion show in New York City, and I was there, and I was like right in the front, screaming every word to all the songs. I was like the only girl. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, rah, rah, rah. And he pulls me up on stage, and we sang together. And that was the first time we sang together. Was that moment?
Wow.
And when I got recruited for Van Helsing's Curse, I was doing like some Queen tribute down at BB King's, and I sang "The Show Must Go On," which is like one of my favorite Queen songs. And literally a week later, I got a phone call on my cell, and this guy was like, "Yes, Dee Snyder would like you to come in and be his leading lady in Van Helsing's Curse." And I was like, "From what? Like, where did you see me?" They're like, "Oh yeah, Queen tribute." I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" So you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was
So-
his charity, but we have done ours.
Yeah, we've done a ton of other charity work, you know. Was it Coalition for the
we did the
Homeless?
Coalition
We did a
for the
toy drive
Homeless.
last Christmas.
That was our, you know, we put that together. We're going to be adopting endangered wildlife from various things. We're going to start off with a lion, and then a gorilla or a chimpanzee, whatever, to try to encourage anybody who is on our fan page or interested in us to know that, you know, wildlife is the crux and everybody needs to do something, and, you know, that $100 a year you put towards the feeding of a lion might save its life, you know. We have done, we're doing the breast cancer thing for
We
the Hard
do
Rock.
the Pinktober events at the Hard Rock. So we're at a couple Hard Rocks doing that same event for the month of October, promoting breast cancer awareness and raising money.
And we're planning our Christmas outreach too. I don't know if we want to talk about that yet, but we
Yeah.
already had a discussion.
You'll hear about it for
Yeah,
sure.
oh, you'll hear about it.
So hopefully everything will come together correct.
Yeah, we like to be involved in things that are meaningful.
Yeah.
You know.
Something that's more than just, you know, the music, the booze, the
Yeah. We're
screaming
also
people.
playing
Like we like to use what little notoriety that we've gotten out of this to do something great.
And the
you know?
Indian Larry event coming up counts too. We're playing that next Saturday. Indian Larry's this iconic biker figure, heroic, gigantic reputation. He's passed away, but this event, the Indian Larry Block Party, is also a fundraiser towards a sick child who is 6 years old and has some sort of inoperable brain disease or something. So we're donating our time to that too. And whatever, I think they're having raffles and various things. So if the cause is good, you know, we'll definitely either drum it up ourselves or get on board if we're asked.
And that's awesome. You know, it sounds like y'all have done a lot in the short amount of time
Yeah.
the band has been together.
It's not even 2
It's
years.
like,
Yeah.
It's
what's-
not, we haven't been together 2 years
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, individually, like, what are your most memorable experiences with the band? Like, overall, whether it be a show, an event that you worked
That's
with,
a good
or anything
question.
like that.
Very good question.
No one's ever asked that.
Right,
No.
and that's tough.
Why don't you start off, new girl?
Yeah.
I would say when you called me that day for the, to
It
come
was
down and
actually last
audition.
week. No,
Yeah.
it's been longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back to me. I have to think
Okay.
about that.
Okay. All right. Let me. There's so many to choose from. Honestly.
I have one. I'm
okay.
ready to go while you
Let's
think.
do first come first serve. How about
Yeah,
that? You
yeah.
good?
I mean, there have been.
All right.
Every show is extraordinary. Every time we get together is extraordinary. We're always learning new things about each other. Adventure just follows us. We walk down the street and it's like people jumping out of cars and, so it's always an adventure. But the most memorable thing told to me was a gig in Reading that we did, and somebody had brought their grandfather or something. Somebody's relative was playing in one of the bands. And this very, very, very elderly gentleman was there. Certainly didn't belong in a rock club, but you knew he was, somebody brought him. And he came over to me afterwards and just said, I just have to tell you, I loved you people so much. I never knew I could feel this way again. Thank you so much. I never knew I could feel this. He had no way to understand that. He just thought like, oh my God, I'm no rocker. What am I doing in a club? And he was so uplifted. He stood at the front of the stage the whole show just like, oh. And then like thanked us for making him feel the music and feel the spirit that everybody had. I thought that was the most outstanding thing thus far.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I'd say for me, you're gonna dig this, and I thought you actually were gonna say this one when we played Myrtle Beach Bike Week in the spring of this year, and this guy was standing. We played 2 shows a day.
That was great.
For like 3-4 days or whatever the hell it was, and like somewhere in the middle, this guy was standing in the front of the stage, and he was just like losing his mind. He's like, ah!
Not a biker.
Going
Nothing.
crazy, not a biker, just like
yeah,
a regular looking dude, flipping the fuck out. I was like, all right, brother, calm down. It was cool.
Yeah.
But like he was just really like excited, which was awesome to see. And then afterwards, he stayed for both shows. Afterwards, he came up to us, and he was just like, I'm not a biker. I had no idea what was going on down here. I was home and I heard the music and I drove here. Not knowing what it was.
Right.
But he just said, whatever
I had to
that
come.
is,
The Pied Piper.
I had to come.
Had to come.
It just sounded so exciting. I was like, wow, we drew motherfuckers from who knows where. They heard he heard the music and drove all the way over, came into like a heavily like
He was out of
attended
place. Yeah.
tough biker event, just like regular guy, and he was up in the front like getting his life. Like he was just like,
Yeah. Just,
it was amazing. He was at like,
yes.
he came to like 2-3
Yeah,
shows.
and thanking us so
And thanked us,
profusely.
Yeah. So those are ditto and ditto. But another moment that I loved is when we played in New York City. We opened up for Pentagram, some local guys that you might have heard of, and we played on. Here we are, a tribute band playing on a bill with like original bands, and we were wondering like, God, here we are, a tribute band, when we go over, and we had such an enthusiastic crowd. I think we had like the best crowd of the night. We had people moshing, people went berserk, and we were received not as like a tribute band or a cover band or as you would expect, but as an original band, as like bona fide musicians.
Just like
it
a
was
great
awesome.
fucking band.
Yeah.
As a great fucking band, period.
Yeah,
Not,
like we've heard from people that were like,
All over.
wow, like I kind of forgot that this was Judas Priest's catalog of music. Like,
Exactly.
because we kind of change it up and make it our own, and we give like a feminine, obviously a very strong feminine energy to it. So like I've had a lot of people that were like, man, I just wish those were your songs.
Yeah.
I wish I
that all
wrote them
the
too,
time.
brother.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
But people say that about Judas Priestess because we just had a big feature article that was done upstate, and a college professor who loves music wrote it, and a quote of his that we now use is, we made him rethink not only tribute bands, women rockers, but rock and roll. And that was a very heavy compliment. You know, a man who's written books about this stuff was like, wow, that just changed me, you know. So.
Did you come up with a moment, Josette?
My moment, you know what my moment was? Okay, I had to learn like all the songs in 1 week. No, I'm not done. I'm not done. Another week. And then we went. They said, well, like, we need you to play next weekend, like 2 shows. And I was like, shit. So I worked all week, and we went out on the road.
Now we'll see your
The first show, I was a little nervous, and then I played, and I was like, oh, God, I hope I did okay. And at the end of the show, they all came up to me, and they hugged me, and it was like, it was good. It was cool.
Aww,
Josette.
sweet.
That
really
was, you gotta remember though, I just joined the band, so I'm sure there'd be like, as I keep playing, there'd be better moments. But,
in like a year or two, when you interview us again, she'll have better stories.
yeah, I'll be like, I was drunk and fell off the stage.
No.
No, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't.
So what else you got, huh? What else?
Actually, I really
That's it.
don't have too much else.
No.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's about it. I just want to thank you all for spending some time with us, and welcome to Baltimore. Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see your show tonight. I'm sure
Thanks
it's going
for
to
having
rock.
us. Absolutely.
We'll put a little of that to go along with the interview, so thanks for your time.
And
Very
we want to
cool.
thank
Thank you.
Judas Priest for writing this great music. We
Yes.
always give them props
Oh, yeah.
because that's it.
Yeah.
They're the cornerstone.
Yep. The metal gods.